Hey guys, Not a Druid back with another video. Damn, look at that sexy ass Torn throwing down some nature dust like Salt Bay. For this video, I spent some time watching all the other content creators and compiled some of the top mistakes people make leveling in Classic WoW. We'll look at the top 5 mistakes that new and returning players of WoW can avoid with a little bit of pre-planning. Mistake number 1, going too fast while questing solo. If you didn't spend a ton of time in 2005 playing Classic WoW, it was known as the original MMORPG of its kind. Leveling to 60 would often take new players 2 months or longer to reach it. One of the best aspects of the game is that it seemed like a challenge at every new quest zone, and you can basically forget about multiple mob pools because you're not going to make it out alive. If you're planning to play a melee class like a warrior or a cloth class like a mage, taking your time between each fight and eating between pools is going to be crucial to surviving out in the world. Mobs that are 2 to 3 levels ahead of you will ultimately wreck your face, and you especially have to be careful when running past mob camps. Killing creatures one at a time and saving cooldowns will especially be helpful when the opposite faction decides to attempt a gank. What juicier target is there than an alliance that has made the mistake of over-engaging himself with 3 different mobs? If you see this, yes, stop and kill the alliance. Mistake number 2. Some players tend to rely on quest experience alone instead of grinding hundreds or thousands of mobs along the way because it is so monotonous that it's really avoided altogether. But this is severely going to impact your leveling experience. In the retail version of the game, there are often so many quests inside of a zone that you are unable to complete them all before you move into the next area. This is almost never the case in the classic version of the game. The quest NPCs are few and far between, and after completing a couple of quests in a new area, the quest pickups become fewer and fewer. You will need to start looking at other areas which at times could be outside of your level range, which means that grinding mobs while questing is extremely important as it adds huge amounts of experience per hour and can be one of the most effective ways to reach 60. Mistake number 3. Players will often spend hard-earned gold on training all of their spells from the class trainer or training all of the recipes from the profession trainer. The vendor prices for gray items and quest rewards are at times barely enough to train your abilities and buy food and water for drinking between questing. Your gold in Classic WoW should be conserved whatever way possible, as your level 40 and 60 mounts will be a top priority once you reach those levels. You're going to see all of the level 40 plus players in your questing zone riding around on their fresh pretty mounts, and you'll want to greatly increase your travel time. But if you are spending all of your gold on spells or vendors that are not absolutely necessary, your gold reserves are going to be too depleted for a mount. Make sure that you are carefully deciding which spells are required for mob grinding and leveling, but skip all of the abilities that are cosmetic or mundane. And don't forget that after reaching level 60, you're going to need so many consumables and pre-raid items that it's going to require all of your gold to purchase them. Using your professions as you level to 60 to make extra gold will help offset this cost. Mistake number 4. Spending time looking for dungeon groups instead of questing. Dungeons in Classic WoW can seem very lucrative because the group assistance to earn a dungeon quest reward can be a huge upgrade, especially for hunters and warrior, not to mention all of the blue and green items from the boss drops. The thing about the dungeons in Classic WoW is that they are very far apart and oftentimes require you to spend a very long time traveling to get to the instance. Not to mention that as a DPS, it can sometimes take hours of spamming chat channels in order to find a group that has a tank and a healer that's ready to go. A lot of players are going to make the mistake of looking for dungeon groups regularly instead of working through a questing and mob grind style of play. This really just isn't the fastest and most efficient way of earning experience, but it can be one of the funnest ways to break the monotonous quest grind. Just remember, the quests are not placed at the beginning of the dungeon like they have been in World of Warcraft for the last few expansions. The quests will require that you travel to the NPC to pick it up, which is oftentimes across the map or on another continent. Mistake number 5. Clicking abilities. Yes, okay, I know this one is so rudimentary that it shouldn't have to go on this list, but I know that players are still clicking their abilities when they play, and leveling a new character is the best opportunity to begin forcing yourself to use new key bindings. You will become a better player no matter what class you're playing if you transition from clicking any of your abilities to having all of them keybound. Okay, that's really all I have for this video. Please leave a comment and thumbs up. See ya!